Fire it up, footballers. James
What's
here.
up?
Oh, hello, Coach. What's going on?
I am back.
Good to have you. Good to hear from you. Good to get you
Hello.
back. Oh, you're coming a bit more regular now.
Yeah, right. 2 times in the last, 2 months.
Well,
But no, good to be back. I wanted to talk a little U.S. Women's National Team. I was able to watch a lot of the games actually live because I was in the hospital with my new baby boy, and I was up all night, so I was able to watch the games.
Well, that's awesome. But that's what we're here to talk to you about, everybody. Talk to you about formation, issues, ways, things that maybe need to change, maybe things that are working, and how we can start this process of rebuilding the U.S. Women's National Team to get back to the top.
Absolutely.
And really a look into what went wrong at the Japan Summer Olympics.
Yeah, I was really infuriated with the shape and stuff like that. I think I'll get into that later. I just, we'll just start with the obvious stuff here first, right? I mean, you just got a bunch of old and accomplished players, right? So, I mean, a lot of these times when I watch the games, there's not a lot of energy. They weren't really sharp. Team shape was horrible. I'm going to spend a lot of time talking on that. And also the world just got a lot better. So you have these old, aging, accomplished players, and then you see after the first game, Sweden put a number on them, and then the rest of the world gets confidence against this juggernaut, and things kind of fell apart from there, and that's why they got the bronze medal.
Let me do some managing on the back end. And well, what? Did this start before the Olympics? Didn't a lot of this?
Yeah, I mean, they were slipping a little bit. I mean, the bottom line is, a lot of these older players didn't have really good tournaments. I mean, Rapinoe had a bad tournament, great bronze medal match. I mean, Carly Lloyd didn't do much. And, maybe it's not fair for me to pick out these older players because really no one had a good tournament. I think it was just a bad, really the managing is what really grinded my gears in the team shape. All this, the older players, the accomplished players, of course that factors in, right? I mean, do they have the chip on the shoulder, especially when you just keep winning championships? And like I said, the world is getting better. But I think what the main problem was the coach, Vlatko. I don't know him very well. I just know him from watching this tournament. I watched all the games, and the 4-3-3, I think, was just completely the wrong formation choice for this team. Now, I get why he did it, right? You basically have 6 attacking options, right? You have Lloyd, Morgan, Rapinoe, Press, Keith. Who's the other one I'm missing?
Pugh?
No, Pugh's not on the roster. Lynn Williams. I'm missing one more big name that can play. There's 6 that they rotated very often. But basically you have 6, A-plus attackers. Carly Lloyd, I said. Morgan. Who was the other sub that they brought in?
Tobin,
I said.
Rose Lavelle.
Nope. Goodness me. We're missing someone. Women's national team.
One of the Muse.
No, Muse. Anyways, but here's the thing. So basically there were 6 attacking options.
Lynn Williams.
Right. Lynn Williams played quite a bit too. But I think Vlatko felt stuck in this formation because he has 6 attackers that all deserve to play.
Were you thinking Haran? Maybe it's Haran.
No, Haran's the midfielder.
Or Ertz.
Then you basically no, maybe I said it all. Maybe it is Lynn Williams. So I was correct. So basically they have these 6 attackers who he feels he has to play, and he rotated them often. I mean, who's really the best? Like, I don't mind the rotation. That doesn't grind my gears. But again, you have these 6 attackers. So you have these attackers that really you want to play them off. So that's why he felt the need to play this 4-3-3. It also works well because you have a bunch of center mids. Like you have Mewis, you have Haran, you have Ertz, you have Lavelle, right? So you have these 4 center mids that you want to play, right? So that's why he chose the 4-3-3, right? So you have all these attackers. You have too many options, right? Too many options. Something we talk about a lot with Man U, right? You have too many options, and that kind of causes problems. So this 4-3-3...
It causes problems for the manager who isn't firm in the way they want to play, right? Because here's the other thing. Look at the Italian national team during the Euros, where they had players that went in, and even though they're slightly different players, they went in to do the same job, and that coach was able to trade in and trade out players and didn't really lose too much because they were all doing the same job. And
Exactly.
and instead, what we got in the U.S. Women's National Team is you've got a couple of options. You've got a couple of different weapons that the coach is like, well, if we bring in this weapon, if we bring in this bazooka, we got to push our miniguns out. I'm sorry to use the military references, but we got to push like our miniguns outside or something to make an adjustment. Do you see what I mean? And meanwhile, Italian team was just, we're gonna keep everything in the same formation on this ship, and we're just going to trade out the parts when they get a little worn down.
Italy is always notorious for team shape, and that's where I'm going with this, right? So Team USA's our team shape with the 4-3-3 was atrocious, right? Personally, I hate the 4-3-3. It's a popular formation, but it's an extremely hard formation. Really, only the best teams in the world play it and can get away with it, right? Payday Barcelona, City, sometimes they play it. But you really need. You have three basic lines, right? You got your attackers, you got your midfielders, and then you got your defenders. Now, here's what the problem was. Our team shape was horrible, right? I'm taking the goalie out, so let's say it's 10v10. Really, we had three players not involved in the game at all, right? So you have those three, let's say for defense, for example. We have 7 girls defending going against 10 attackers, so we're down 3 players. And those 3 attackers are just sitting up top, not involved at all, right? So all of a sudden, this is why I don't like this formation. Those wingers, right? They don't really defend, right? They'll come back, put a little bit of pressure on, but that leaves so much space out wide, right? And USA is not dominating possession, so the other teams are dominating possession. So you have these 3 attackers not really defending.
It shows a lot of confidence in their back line, though, that the 3 forwards are basically staying. But that's also the problem, that other teams can take it to them then, and then what are they caught in the back foot? I mean, they're short 3 players in defense.
Exactly. So it puts so much stress on the midfield, which then puts stress on the back line. So these 3 center mids, they have to cover the outside space. So they would go out wide. And guess what happens when your center midfielders are covering the outside space? What opens up? What space?
Center mid. The center of the field.
Yep. So the ball would go to the center field. Guess who has to cover that? Your center backs have to step up. Maybe another center mid that's still in there.
Yeah,
and then you're just chasing. So this team shape was just not defensively. It was just horrible. So that's why you see Team USA just getting worked, right? That they didn't have possession, and defensively. They, I know that they didn't really give up. They kind of figured it out at the end there. But again, these teams just had more numbers up, and they were just coming. And now here's the reverse. When we try to counter or build out of the back, we're still down numbers, right? Those 3 attackers are so far, from helping out these center midfielders. And that's why you saw those center midfielders taking too many touches. There was just no triangles. There's no triangles. There's no numbers forward. The team shape was just disconnected, right? The metaphor I like to use with my team is picture like team shape, James. Picture a blanket that's a little bit too small, right? So if you pull it up, your feet will be exposed, right? Let's say your feet get cold and you pull the blanket down. Well, now your head's exposed, right?
Good point.
That's how team shape is. So these guys were running a ripped blanket, right? Their 3 lines were never connected. Right, so it puts so much stress on the center mids and the defenders because they don't have options. They're taking too many touches. Their strikers, their wingers are not involved. So what you saw was a lot of unorganized, chaotic soccer, right? It just wasn't 11 girls working together. And then conversely, the other teams, they were working together. And I just do not like the 4-3-3. It's such a hard formation. I really do think if they switched to a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2, something like that, it would have had much better. The soccer would look much better. But here's the problem with that. If you play some of those formations, James, you're not going to be playing those 6 attackers. You're not going to be playing those 4 center mids. And, Rose Lavelle, I don't know what her natural position is. I would just play a 3-4-3, have her be, like an outside, like a wing back type. You can have Crystal Dunn on the outside. Haran and Ertz in the middle. I'm not even sold on Ertz being a center mid. I like Mewis and Haran in there. And Ertz really should be like a center back. But again, that's really was the issue of the problem. And this coach Vlatko, again, I don't know much about him, but he never made adjustments. He was just banking on his big guns, his best players, their skill, their talent, just to win games. And guess what? Like we said earlier, the world is a lot better And it was really easy to exploit their formation because their team shape was atrocious. They were not connected defending as a unit. They were not attacking as a unit. And it was basically a bunch of single talented girls doing their own thing.
So it sounds like
And
hero ball.
it was hero ball. And then you start pressing, right? You start pressing because, you're not doing as well as you should. So you start, trying to do too much. And that's kind of what you saw. And then the confidence went down and, it was stupid. I remember watching, I forgot if it was the semifinal game. The coach was like, someone asked him what he wanted them to change. What's the change? And he's like, I want them to play with freedom. And that's just a stupid coach jargon. And I'm yelling again. It's like 4 a.m. I'm tired. I'm yelling at the TV. I'm like, dude, switch your formation. This 4-3-3 is horrible. Horrible.
About the 4-3-3, before I ask you what formation would you rather run with these girls, that formation style, when I think of a 4-3-3 if successful, when I think of Liverpool, I think of their Gegenpressing and BVB and that kind of style, Jurgen Klopp's. Were U.S. Women's National Team applying the 4-3-3 style defense correctly, or were there where were the mistakes there?
Well, again, you have these wingers like Christian Press, a Tobin Heath, Megan Rapinoe. They're worthless on defense. They're not they're designed for, USA is going to have possession the whole game. They're going to creep out wide and they're going to score, right? When it becomes a real soccer match and you have to play on both sides of the ball, they're hazards. They're hazards on the defensive side of the ball. So again, you have obviously that center striker is not going to be defending much, but those two outside wingers, when they don't track back and they don't play defense and they don't get behind the ball, again, team shape is all about working together, and it cascades. If one person's out of position, well, that means someone has to help them out and then they have to step to the ball, and then there's space where they're leaving, and then someone else has to step to that space where that girl just left. Right, so you could see how pockets of space opens up when you don't have these two wingers dropping back, and it's as simple as that. As I said earlier, they would get the ball out wide. The center mids would have to go out wide, and then because our wingers weren't doing anything, they would then bring the ball to the middle. Center backs would step, and that was how they were beating us. And it just blows my mind that Vlatko, again, I'm just some high school coach. How does he not see this? It blew my mind that he could not see. It was so obvious. I mean, you can go on my Twitter. Within the first 5 minutes of the game, I'm already like, this looks horrible. 4-3-3 is still the same thing going on. But here's the thing. If you switch to a 3-4-3, if you switch to a 3-5-2, he's going to hurt some feelings. You're not going to be playing 6 attackers like Rapinoe, Heath. They're not wingbacks. They don't have the work rate, right?
Is it time to move on from Rapinoe and Heath, even though Tobin Heath's probably my favorite player?
I love Tobin Heath, and Rapinoe's a great player too. And Heath, not a great tournament. Rapinoe had a good bronze match, but other than that, she was pretty bad. Again, everyone was really bad, to be honest with you. I think Becky Sauerbaum had a good tournament. The goalie Nair had a good tournament. That's really about all. Really? The only ones I could pick out that had good tournaments.
Well, think about it must be mentioned that their tournament was one of their recent failures. I'm reading here. I haven't. No, never mind. I was reading it was a good summer for U.S. soccer, but it's actually for the U.S. men's national team. I was like, U.S. women's national team has not had some success lately. They've been struggling.
Yeah, and again, you have these. So what happened is you have these good players like Rose Lavelle. What is she? Is she a center mid? Is she a winger? Ertz, is she a center back or is she a center defensive mid? And USA would be able to get away with this because they were heads and shoulders better than the competition, right? For the longest time was Brazil, right? Brazil was always the one. Brazil's a little bit down. But now you have a Canada. Now you have a Sweden. These teams that are building and up and coming. So you can't just rely on your talent. And then again, those teams, Sweden and Canada, they just out-coached Vlatko. I mean, it was as simple as that. Again, on paper, we obviously have the best roster. But that's not how the game played out. And he didn't make adjustments. His only adjustment would, he would just wholesale change those front three. So he'd take out Rapinoe, Heath, and Morgan and bring in those 3 other attackers. And then, guess what? You still have those 3 center mids that are exhausted. You have those forward backline players that are exhausted because they're not getting any help. So again, if you switch to a 3-4-3, a 3-3-5-2, you're going to be sitting some stars. You're going to be sitting some stars in the center mid. You're going to be sitting some strikers. And he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do that.
What's crazy is I'm looking back at the results. February, I'm seeing 4-0 beat Mexico, 3-0 beating Canada, and Canada just won this tournament. Sweden as well was played very good. But I mean, USA was on a great run. I mean, 2-0 beating England, 1-0 beating Spain, 3-1 beating Japan in the She Believes Cup, 2-0 beating the Netherlands, 4-0 Colombia, and then 6-0 Colombia, 1-0 beating Canada again in the She Believes Cup, beating Brazil 2-0. I mean, look at these results: 6-0 beating Argentina, tie Sweden in a friendly 1-1. So Sweden's been a problem, and Canada, those are their main rivals. France is a good team too. USA 2, France 0, USA 1, Portugal 0. But the USA has been on a run. And what happened was they came into this tournament and they got exposed. There are issues. Like you said, Vlatko didn't need to make adjustments. He's been able to survive off basically putting in heroes. And,
exactly.
And that's what he would do. He put in a hero there, and the hero would save the day. And that's because the United States women's national team is so ridiculously talented at every position and so physically fit and so athletic. No, that's awesome problem to have. Guys. Awesome problem to have. But same thing for the United States. The US women are so athletically superior in every position that they can play hero ball. But now here's the thing. You need to get a coach in there who could take the best team on the planet and make them better. That's what you need. You don't need a coach who just goes out there and just lets them play. You need a Phil Jackson who goes out there and can make a great team better. And by these suggestions you're talking about, these adjustments, maybe they need a new coach. But I don't know if the coach Vlatko is the guy to do it because it didn't seem he was making these adjustments.
Yeah, and again, it was so obvious from game one, and he didn't make any changes. I'm sorry, James. I got this little guy crying on me right now. Hold on, give me 1 second there. Here we go. Sorry,
listeners, for the baby, but
yeah, again, awesome it's. I think I pretty much said everything I needed to say.
You think you're done? All right. Well, I think. I guess I had one more question, and it was you already answered it. It was about the formation you'd rather play, and also what about some of the roster decisions? What roster decisions need to be made? I mean, some things need to change here. Is Alyssa Nahier the goalie going forward? Probably.
Alyssa was great. I think I just got him here. But again, yeah. So the roster decisions was fine. Like, you're going to bring your young studs. Your studs, right? The people that have gotten you there before, the people that have won, the Rapinos, the Heats. But again, if I'm Canada, if I'm Sweden, and I'm going in and playing these guys, the tactics is obvious, right? All right, so we got these wingers that aren't going to defend, right? They don't have the work rate, and then we're going to expose them on the wings, open up the space in the middle, and then we attack from there. Then guess what happens when you have 7 girls defending, right? You're going to get tired. You're going to get tired. And when you get tired, your counterattack's not going to be as good. You're going to take too many touches. You're going to make these mental errors. And again, I really don't put this on the players as I put it so much on the coach. Mm-hmm. If he puts a 3-4-3 in, you have 3 center backs. Play Sauerbaum. Play Ertz in the back. Play Davidson. Play Dahlkemper in the back.
And here's the thing. You might have to sit some of your better players. No, here's the thing. You can't sit your best players, but you might have to sit some of your better players and bring them in off the bench. That's been another great thing. I'll just say, maybe we'll end on that. How was the tournament with subs? Did they have 5 subs available?
Yeah. They were using subs a lot. They were available, and they would pretty much just, like I said, they would make the wholesale line change up top at like the 60th minute. Put 3 brand new attackers. But again, that didn't matter because your attackers probably aren't that tired because they weren't attacking.
Really?
They weren't defending.
Look at that. So they're replacing some of the cogs on their team that might not even been so tired and worn down. Instead of replacing the places that were worn down over the game, he replaces the wrong. So that's an issue.
But here's the thing, though, James. Your team, you picked this. The squad selection was built for 4-3-3, right? So here I am suggesting a 3-4-3. they're not built for the 3-4-3. They left some girls at home that could play a 3-4-3. Like O'Hara is the right back. I don't think she could really play a wing back. That's why I would just stick Lovell out there, stick Crystal Dunn out there. I would have Haran and Mewis in the middle. Okay. Then I would have, any of those 6 attackers that we mentioned, any form of Rapinoe, Heath, Lloyd, Morgan, Press, any of those people up top wouldn't matter.
You might be able to hide a weapon on the wing back, like you're saying. You might be able to hide a weapon on the wing back, and then if you let Ertz run that back line as a 3 center back line, maybe her and Sauerborn is like where you build around in that back line. Maybe Tierna Davidson's the other one. I don't know.
But it negates what the other teams wanted to do, which is, again, is go out wide, expose the space that the wingers left, and the coach through 4, 5, 6 games, I don't know how many they played, he never made a tactical change.
Well, that's what they played those tactics though. So, but you're saying he didn't make the adjustment where hey, this player is sitting on top of you. You just got to move to this part of the field, and they'll be off of you, and you'll be freeing up other players. He's not making those types of adjustments, is what you're saying.
Yes, and then so on top of it, we talked about this team shape, which I think is the biggest problem, and then on top of it, what we talked about it earlier, right? You have these older, aging, accomplished players that Father Time is a real thing, and the rest of the world is catching up. So I think this is a huge eye-opening, awakening experience for Team USA. You can't just rely on being the best anymore. I've heard that a tactician up there. You need a tactician.
And also, you might need a different striker than Alex Morgan. It doesn't seem like she has it anymore at the top level. It seems like she's got people on her heels that are there on the U.S. Women's National Team that are able to already replace her and maybe provide something better for this team. And that's just a few of the spots. And what's unfortunate is these are huge, amazing, legendary players who've just won and won and won. And that's what's going to be hard on the fans, is seeing some of these amazing players move on. But they'll move on to big roles and within soccer, hopefully pundits, talking, coaching, those types of stuff. So hopefully they'll still be around. But those will be some of the growing pains that we're going to be going through. But here's the thing about that: look at the great teams of the past, international teams. I mean, these Spanish teams, these German teams. The tree keeps growing. There's new fruit on the tree, and there will be new, just like Pulisic. We didn't have a Pulisic until we had before we had Pulisic, we had Landon Donovan and Claudio Reyna. And those fruit led to bigger and better fruit. And that's what's going to happen for this U.S. Women's National Soccer Team, too.
You and I are not privy to, who is down there, who was left off the roster, what young talents do we have, right? We pretty much just watch, the big tournaments, She Believes Cups, the World Cup, those kind of things. So we know the big names. But again, I think we pretty much said everything we need to say. It was the formation. The formation, you never had 11 girls working together, offensively and defensively, and then things compound from there. Like I said, too many touches.
He wants to install the Catenaccio.
Yeah, and it was so easy. It was so easy for these teams, the better teams, to tactically pick us apart. Because again, how are you going to defend with you're attacking with 10 girls, you're defending with basically 7. You're not going to win that.
And then you get beat 3-0 to Sweden. By Sweden.
Yep. But I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say. And then you do have some weird players, like I said earlier, like Lavelle. What does she really play? Ertz, what is her best position?
They're always moving her around too.
Yeah.
And then she goes and scores a wonder goal, but then, then there's other games where they lose 3-0 to Sweden.
Exactly. So I think going forward, right, you gotta assume Rapinoe, Heath, O'Hara, these older players are going to be done going forward. So you'll see some genesis and see some new players going in. But again, the days of just trotting out a 4-3-3 and just trotting out the best players that we have is over. It's over. You need your best players that tactically fit a formation, a scheme that fits on the global level. Again, I guarantee you, maybe on paper you don't have your best 11 out there, but you play a 3-4-3, you play a 3-5-2, and I guarantee you it is a complete different story.
Wow.
That's pretty much all I got, brother.
Well, that was amazing. If everybody could smash that peanut butter and jelly button, you know what I mean, put a peanut butter and jelly on that like button and smash it. And also, please consider, it would utterly delight us if today was the day that Spitting Fire YT earned your subscription as we march our way on towards 600 subscribers.
There we go. Again, I just want to apologize, y'all, for my crying baby. James, thanks for having me on. I'm proud of you for what you've done with the show. If you guys haven't checked out his Ted Lasso video, somehow got 5,000 views. So shout out to you, James. And again, thank you for having me on, and maybe I'll be on here soon.
Thank you for that. Greatly appreciate it. And as I just request everybody, smash that peanut butter and jelly button, that like button. And it greatly helps the YouTube algorithms transmit the Spitting Fire YT content out into the YouTube algorithms and greatly helps out Chicago soccer. And if you ever want to come and hang out, leave a comment below. And we always have a live chat on the side that we interact with during the shows. And that's kind of what we do here. Hit that bell icon to get notified of our live shows. That's how we do it here at Spitting Fire YT. Thanks for coming on the show, brother. All right, Coach, I will let you go.
Time to go change a baby diaper.
That sounds fun. All right, change a baby. All right, man. Good luck with that. All right, love you, dude.
Love you, brother.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Spitting Fire YT. Smash that like button. Please consider. It would utterly delight us if you can subscribe, and we will catch you later. Fire down, everybody. Have a great one.